Hi everyone, today I want to share a fun little stamp set called Softly Sketched, and I was drawn to this one because of the images. I love this butterfly on this little floral flower here. I'm not sure what it is. I think to me it's a magnolia tree branch. We have a really pretty magnolia tree outside and it looks just like this when it's starting to bloom. So that's what I'm going with. I'm not sure what it is, and I'm going to call that a monarch butterfly because that's what we have here by my house in Elmhurst, Illinois. So we've got some cotton here and some grapes, and they're just really pretty. The sentiments are nice as well, and I thought it was fun. The stamp set is a little bit dark, as you can see, and I was trying to think how are some ways that it can be used, and my mind goes to coloring because I like to color. The name Sketched kind of makes it to me like something that you would have in your sketchbook, or a little quick little sketch you would do outside. So I was playing around with some different ways to use it, and so I actually came up with, thought I would just play with it for a little bit and come up with a card, and I ended up making kind of a little collection of cards, and I thought, well, that's kind of too much for one video, so I'm gonna make this 2 videos. I'm gonna do a couple cards with colored pencil, and then I'm gonna do a different video using some watercolor techniques, and anyway, I hope you like them. The first one I'm going to show you is focusing on the word sketched and using kind of a craft paper, and mostly using the black. And I take a drawing class just for fun in my town, and we often sketch in charcoal, and we also use a white chalk pencil to kind of highlight certain areas. So you can do a lot of just blacks and whites, and I did a card like that that I'm going to share with you. So I'm kind of playing with the idea of sketching it out in kind of a dark pencil and then adding some color to it, or just white. You can do either one. And so anyway, let's get into it. For my craft paper, I was looking, we used to sell craft paper and we no longer do. And what we do sell, I had thankfully, was this little pack here, and it's craft card bases and envelopes, and you get 20 card bases and 20 envelopes in this little pack, and you also get a box. So I thought, oh, that's so nice. You can make a little gift for somebody, and maybe you don't have to give them all 20 cards. You can make them a gift of, you know, 10 cards or 6 cards and keep the rest for yourself or make all 20. But anyway, it's a really nice little gift box. So I thought I would show you the box really quick. I made up a bunch of cards, and we'll make a couple together, and then we'll decorate the box. So I've already done the lid, but they go together the same way. So it's like this, and no adhesive is really required for this. You want to just make sure that you get your flaps, kind of score everything on the lines here. Just kind of helps you when you go to fold it. Okay, so as long as you've got your flaps underneath, you're gonna not need any adhesive. You can add adhesive. So this longer one is kind of the one you want to do last. It's got these little tiny tabs here, and they tuck in, so you're gonna want to do that one last because they tuck into these little tabs here. So you want to go up over those little tabs and down. Okay, and then you can do this, whoops. Now this one's going to hold it all together, but if you wanted to add adhesive, you could go ahead and do this one down and this one down. They kind of all help each other stay in place. And then when you do this final one, you want to go over these tabs, and so then it's kind of like double thick. You get double walls, double floor, and then that little bottom piece is gonna, those little tabs are gonna go into those little holes and kind of lock everything in place. So it's actually quite sturdy without any adhesive whatsoever. And I already did the lid, which goes together in the exact same way. And so you just have this nice little box, and you can decorate this so many different ways. You can stamp on it, color it. What a great little box, right? So anyway, that comes together in this little pack of 20 note cards and envelopes, and the whole thing altogether is $10. So you get 20 note cards with 20 envelopes and a little box for $10. I mean, you could make nice gifts with this for teachers, co-workers, anybody, friends. So anyway, it's a nice size box. These are note card size. So here's a standard size card, and a standard size card doesn't quite fit in there. These are for, they go with these note cards. But I think that makes a really nice gift, and we're gonna turn it into a gift together. Okay, so that is I wanted to show you that craft box because I didn't realize that that box came in with the envelopes until I got it. It says right on there in the catalog, and just for some reason it didn't hit me. Okay, so we're gonna use those little cards. Here's an envelope, and here's a base. Okay, and then I'm going with that sketched look, like I said, so I'm gonna just make a little background because I felt like I had to. So the card itself is already cut, and it's already got a score line in it. So I'm adding this piece of basic black, and I've cut this at 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. And all I'm doing is I wanted it to have a little edge of that craft still showing around it. I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down so that I have less pieces on my desk. I like using my liquid glue because it gives me just a little bit of time that I can wiggle. All right, then I cut a piece of basic white. So I've got craft, basic black, and then I've got this basic white. And so this one is just a little bit smaller. Now normally I cut things in 1/4 of an inch smaller, but I gave a little bit more room on this one because I wanted to show that black. So I've got this piece of basic white cut at 4 1/2 by 3. There we go. And then now this one I already stamped it. I'm going to show you one I didn't stamp. There we go. I cut this one at 2 3/4. That's this shorter length, and then here is 4 1/4, but then we're going to kind of alter it a little bit. Now I was thinking about sketches and my sketchbook and a little travel sketchbook that I have, and I remembered this die set here. Now if you don't have this die set, you can omit this step, but I thought this was really cute. It's got this kind of perforated edges like a spiral notebook would have, and my little travel notebook would have, and so I decided to cut the top off with this little die here. And this is a fun little collection. It's called Gorgeously Made, making sure, yep. And these dies have a coordinating stamp set, but none of the stamps or dies necessarily cuts out any of the stamps. They just coordinate beautifully together, and they're both kind of what I would call layering pieces, because these dies are such great add-ons to anything. So they don't really have to go with any stamp set. So this is something you can buy on its own. However, the same thing can be said about the stamps. They have a giant floral and all that. So and little words, and you know, I should just show it to you. But it's a great layering piece. So it's kind of one of those things that if you had on your shelf, you're going to get it out and grab it and use it all the time with any of your stamps. Here it is, just real quick. See what I mean by it has these little like rough words. That'd be a great background. These are just great backgrounds of anything. This kind of just rough textured. There's a few words in here, but mostly I was thinking of this set for all these added pieces. But the dies are just another texture layer that you can add to anything. So anyway, I'm using this just for this little die here. So let me show you how I did that. All right, so I've got this little piece here, and it's got a little dashed lines. That's kind of like a perforated edge, and then this would be where your spiral is, so you need to put this at the top. And you're going to lay that right on the edge there, and I put some washi on there. I was cutting a bunch of these, and I didn't want it to move. See how it kind of puffs up on here? My plates are a little warped. Anyway, so that's what my washi's on there for, because my plates are bumpy. And then I'm going to stamp this in Memento Black, and I'm going to use this butterfly. I'm going to slightly angle it because I like that butterfly to be a little more horizontal. There we go. And I have already done another one with the grapes. Okay, so you can see the bottom here, I used a corner rounder. I don't have the current corner rounder because I already had this one. So I think the new one has 3 corners in one. It's really a great little punch that I keep meaning to grab and I just keep forgetting. So you just want to round your corners. And then to color it, I just used my pencils. These are Stampin' Up watercolor colored pencils. And the one that we're mostly going to use here is this white. And I'm going to show you how to kind of give these little images some pops of color. And mostly I'm using this white, and I have to have my pencil sharpener nearby because we want to make sure that this has got a nice clean sharpened edge. All right, so now for this magnolia, I am just kind of coming from the top and getting the tips white. And again, you can do this whole thing just with white accents, or you can add some color. All right, and I wanted my, I gave the little butterfly eye kind of a little glint of white. Okay. And then, like I said, I wanted mine to be a monarch, so I'm using an orange. This is pumpkin pie, and I'm going just adding some color to some of these little sections. Okay, now this stamp, and I'm going to stamp set has a lot of shading in it. If you notice in the images, there's a lot of shaded areas, so there's a lot of black ink on here, and when you go over that with your pencil, you might obscure it completely. And so I'm going to take a look at that and see if I need to add any black back on top. I'm going to add some little dots on my monarch's wing, see if I remember what they look like properly. Alright, I'm going to add some pink. Alright, I think I've got it how I want it. Okay, here we go. So there's my little sketched magnolia. And let's work on the grape. Now again, there's a lot of black in here, so you have to kind of look at it and just know that that's gonna, you can go right over that with your colored pencil and it's just gonna make that area darker. So I'm going to start with this one, which is Gorgeous Grape. The colored pencils come in 2 assortments, assortment 1 and assortment 2, and I'm kind of using a little bit of both. They're pretty inexpensive. In assortment 1, you get 16 pencils, and it costs, I think, actually, I have the catalog open. 16 pencils for $13. So less than $1 a piece. And then assortment 2 only has 10 pencils. I said that backwards. It's $16 for 13 pencils. So more than $1 a piece. I was gonna say that's a pretty good price because it's still a good price. There are 13 pencils in assortment 1 and 10 pencils in assortment 2, and that's because assortment 1 has your basics. It's got your black, your white, and your gray. And then assortment 2 has 10 and they're all colors. So no basics. So you kind of want to grab both, but if you're only going to grab one, then assortment 1's the way to go because it's got the white and the black. And you might think that black's not important because the stamp you can ink in black, but sometimes it really adds something, so you might want to think about it. All right, so right now I've colored it, but it's kind of colored, slightly boring. And so what you can do is you can add another color. This is Freesia, and I'm going to add some like lighter highlights to my grapes. Or you could go deeper, add some reds, get a good red grape going. So I've got some Freesia. Just to give them more variety of color. Another way to give them variety of color is just by pressing harder and lighter, so you can get a deeper purple with a harder touch or a lighter purple with a lighter touch. All right, and then I'm gonna give my grapes, I think I missed a grape. I'm gonna give my grapes some highlights with the white pencil in a bit, but let me do that leaf. So I'm grabbing a couple greens. I thought I had Granny Apple out here somewhere. Oh, here's Granny Apple. Where's my garden green? That's cherry. I must have put it away. Okay. So I'm adding a little bit of Granny Apple green to some of the areas. And sometimes if you're coloring on a very dark area, you can add a layer of white down and then kind of color on top of that. So here Granny Apple Green's kind of doing the same thing for me because it's lighter. So now I'm adding some garden green on top. All right, and then I love the white, so I'm gonna go ahead, and I have to keep sharpening it because the top is getting kind of coated with some of the other pencil colors, so that's why I keep going back to sharpen. But just this little bit of white just really wakes up these grapes. All right, like that. There we go. Okay, and I don't think I need to go over with black. Had I gotten too much of the colored pencil on top of my images, I would have taken my basic black pencil and I would have fixed any areas that like maybe lost their black, like right here. I don't think I lost much, so I don't need to do that. No. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more real quick so that I can use it for the lid of my box. I already stamped it. Okay, now let's just assemble. So I've got my note cards, and I'm gonna add my images. All right, and we need our sentiments. I lost one of my card bases. I had pre-made one so that I could make one with you and have one pre-made, and I can't find it. It's gotta be here. It's one of those crazy things that happens when you're making a video. Okay. All right. Well, I'll make the other one later, but right now I will make this one with you. I feel like it's like right in my front of my face, but yet I can't find it. All right. I'm going to put my envelopes in the box, and then we're going to make the sentiment. And I'm going to find that missing note card. Okay, so for the sentiments, I went with some scraps of black paper. I've always got this size scrap laying around. Probably you do too. And so I'm going to use some of the sentiments. And how the sentiments work, they're really kind of fun. This one says, just hope you know. And then there's, you're not alone. Just hope you know how amazing you really are. Just hope you know how much you'll be missed. Just hope you know I love you. Or just hello or I love you can be used completely on their own. So anyway, real cute sentiments. So I decided, since this was a grouping of note cards, I would make a good variety. So right now I'm going to do just hope you know. I think I need the smaller one. Pardon my head in the video here. Just hope you know, and I love you. And then I thought we would do a hello. All right, and then I'm doing these in just white embossing powder. So here's my hello. And that one I'm going to use this guy for. So I've got skinny little piece of paper here. This little tray is kind of handy. It's sold with these tweezers, and you also get a brush, which I wish oh, here it is. I was gonna say, I wish I knew where it was. If you have any flyaways, you can get those off. And it also comes with an embossing buddy, which I should have used before I did this. An embossing buddy is like a little, I don't know where mine is. It's a little pad of like chalk dust, kind of, and it's like, you know, when a gymnast is going to go on the parallel bars or something, they put chalk on their hands. It's kind of a similar idea. You're putting chalk, I mean, you're not doing it for slipping, you're doing it for static. Here it is. You're putting this chalk powder kind of down on the paper to avoid static, which is what happens when you get those little flyaways. It also kind of absorbs any grease that might have been on your fingers before you started working. So it's a really nice little product to have, and they all come bundled together, so it's nice. You get all the little embossing things you might need. All right, and so then how I added these, I wanted to kind of go with that torn sketchbook look, so I just ripped them. I just, you know, tore the sides and gave them a rough edge. And if I accidentally tore it too cleanly, I went back and roughed it up a bit. So I've got that. And, oops, don't tear off the word. All right, so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to put them up on dimensionals, and you can do things like add some twine or add some rhinestones, little gems. I'll show you, I made a few already, so I'm going to show you a variety. So this is the just hope you know, and then I love you. like that. All right, and here I'm gonna have to find this one, but this one will have a little hello, and I will find it. It's got to be around here. But here's some others that I made. All right, here's the butterfly one. So it'll look like this, only it'll say hello. Oh, and I'm missing the just hope you know. I made a whole bunch of these already. Oh, here's the other image from the set. It was such an easy color. It's cotton, so the black and white were perfect. It's this one here. So I thought I would show you that one, but I thought we don't need to color that one together. That's an easy one. Here is the grapes. Here's one I did earlier. This is the one that says, how amazing you really are. You are not alone, and I love you. So here's a good variety. Oh, this one I wanted to show. If you don't have this little die here, you can do a really cute card without that. I just did it without it on this one. So I'm just trying to show you a variety. Stick all your envelopes in there, and once I figure out where my other just wanted you to know went, I'll add that. And then for our box, how I'm going to do that is I am going to use the non-cut one. I'm not going to use a white layer because I'm going to use this white ribbon to kind of add more white, and I'm going to stick these together. I'm going to put there. All right, and this, I'm going to pop this up on dimensional so it's got a little bit of lift to it, and then I'm going to slide the ribbon underneath. So we've got this. This one is calling out for rhinestones, isn't it? We're going to have to put some rhinestones on there. All right, we're going to slide. Actually, I'm going to go this way so that I end up where I want to end up. Slide that. Come around. And tie our bow. There we go. So then the recipient can just untie and have a really cute little gift box. I hope you like it. And then I'm going to do another video on watercoloring, so check back for that. Here's another variety where I use the same idea but on some colored paper. There we go. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back to watch some watercoloring. I love watercoloring, and it's World Watercoloring Month. I didn't know if you knew that, but I am all over it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.